how does one start a YouTube channel back up after 2 years of being MIA? I started this channel to find myself after a long relationship ending, and let me tell you guys, it has been the craziest journey of my life. I look hectic right now because I am 3 weeks postpartum. I can't believe this is my life. I don't even know where to start to tell you guys everything that has happened, and so it's probably gonna be a multi-part video because I'm blown away. I really am. I went back and looked at all my old videos from when I started this channel, and I started it out of frustration, anger, and just trying to find that like self-love again and appreciation for just my own company. I guess we'll just dive right into it. After the videos that you had seen of me scoping out Dallas and trying to figure out where I was gonna live, getting out on my own and stuff, after that I ended up losing my job. I actually got the option to quit, but technically fired. And I didn't want to move to Dallas, so I wasn't living in the area that they wanted me to be in. I took that as my sign to pack up and do a whole new change. I actually sold all of my belongings, and this is why I wasn't posting for so long, is because I actually thought I was going through a hard transition after my last relationship, and it ended up being an even bigger transition. I decided to move to Hawaii, and shortly afterwards, and I'll get into the details of that in a different video, and what that was like for me, but shortly afterwards, I think not even a month in, I met my now husband. I'm wearing a silicone ring because I'm still very swollen. Got married in Hawaii and decided to move back to Texas because we found out we were having a baby girl. So yeah, as you can tell, a lot of things have happened since my last video. But what I will say is it was everything that I had prayed for and more. Everything I was trying to get away from, I got away from, and everything that I was trying to find, I found. There's that. What I really wanted to talk about today is, and I guess I just had to give you guys a little update for it to make sense, considering I haven't posted in like 2 years. Now, I wanted to talk about my birth story. And I feel like a lot of people post about really hard and lengthy and gruesome, just hardcore birth stories. And I just want to spread some positivity and let people know that that's not all it always is or will be. Oh, I forgot primer. It's okay. That's not how it is for everybody, and I want to kind of share that positivity because I know when I was researching birth and all that kind of stuff from other people, it was always just some really bad, scary experiences, and I don't want that to be like the case for every video that's posted out there. I had a positive experience. It was hard. It was very hard, but it was a very positive experience. It was something that I think is a dream birth, in my opinion. It was definitely my dream birth. Did I go unmedicated? No. I mean, I think it's wonderful and amazing, incredible what our bodies can do and how many people can withhold or withstand unmedicated births, but that was just not my case. But at the same time, you'll understand why here in a minute, and I wish I would have just stuck through it and gone unmedicated if I had known how quickly things were gonna go. Kind of started off, I had, if you follow me on TikTok, you know that I had been posting since I think it was around 35 weeks. I was having contractions and a lot of signs or signals that I was gonna be going into labor early. My doctor had even stated that she thinks I was gonna have it around like 37 weeks, 38 weeks. She didn't even set up any follow-up appointments because she really thought the baby was gonna be coming a lot sooner. I was doing all of the prep that was necessary. So like I was exercising, I was drinking the raspberry leaf tea daily, I was eating the dates daily, I was doing the pineapple juice daily, bouncing on my ball, I was doing curb walking. What else was I doing? Oh, the perineal massages, all of that. I was doing absolutely everything that I could to get her out. 40 weeks rolls around. I got my hopes up, okay? 40 weeks rolls around and I'm still pregnant. I literally was about to lose it. I was really trying. I had an induction schedule to go and have the baby early, or at least on my official due date, I was supposed to have an induction scheduled, but I was already having contractions and I was like, you know what? I really feel like she's gonna come on her own. So I wanted her to. I wanted to give her that space and that ability to just come when she needed to. I didn't want to rush it. Fast forward, she's still not out. I decided, because it was starting to weigh on me heavily emotionally because of how much pain I was in and just like the anxiety of her coming. So I decided that if they called me again to have an induction, I prayed about it and I said, if they call me again, God, I promise, like, I will be fearless and I will go in for this induction because I'm terrified. That's one of my biggest, biggest fears is like surgery and hospitals. I don't do well with it. I never have. I don't like blood, needles, anything like that. So it's always been very scary for me. But I told God, I said, you know what? I will be fearless and I will say yes and we will go in. I won't think twice about it if that is your plan. I literally get a call that night, which was on Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving Day, I got the call. They needed me there in 2 hours. So I said, you know what? I made this promise. I told God that I would show up. So I told the lady on the phone, I said, yes, we will be there at, 11:45 p.m. was when my bed was open. So we got there. It was a 45-minute drive. I had just finished Thanksgiving dinner with my family. This was the night before Thanksgiving, I should say, when they gave me the call. We decided to have Thanksgiving early just so we could have dinner and stuff. I don't know what the reason was. My family just wanted to do it that way and it worked out perfectly. I don't know if that was like God's way of allowing us to have a Thanksgiving with my family before she came or what. It was just perfect timing. We get there and everything is just strolling. The people that work there are so nice. They greet me, they get me settled in. They pretty much come in and let me know where I'm at, what we need to do next. So they do the check. The doctor was giving me a bunch of options, kind of started off at, they did the check and they said that I was already at a 4 centimeter. If you know that there's not much else to do other than either wait or jump to Pitocin when you're at 4 centimeters. Mind you, my body was already starting the labor process. So my nurse, after the doctor had left, she said, look, I'm gonna be very honest with you. There's not much else we can do. You just need to jump straight to Pitocin and get this baby out. I told God, I said, you know what? Any decision, and keep this in mind through this story, I told God that I would be fearless, I would show up, and I would accept anything that was gonna be coming my way. Just use me and my body to get this baby here on earth. And I promise you, anything that you tell me that I need to do, I will do it. Terrified, but I was willing. I asked God to just not allow me to really make any decisions, just to let it kind of streamline and, use me. So he did that. Trust me, he did that. I'm amazed. And I hope I could tell the story as well as it played out because it was just breathtaking, the whole thing, the whole experience. But anyways, so she says we just need to do the Pitocin and hurry up and get this baby out. Cool, okay. I'm gonna trust that. Let's just do it. So we did. I started on the Pitocin. At first, I couldn't even tell I was having contractions at all. I had no idea I was having contractions. The monitor, you could see it on the screen. Contractions were happening, but I couldn't feel anything. They did another check. They said, okay, you've moved on to a 5. That's when the contractions started kicking in. And this is where I wish I had known. And I wish I would have stuck with it and gone unmedicated, but I didn't. The nurse that was helping me, she was like, look, if you're already in pain, you might as well just get the epidural because most people's labors last multiple days. And I was like, oh, I don't think that I could last multiple days with this kind of pain because I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna be able to move through it. I thought I was gonna be able to get up and bounce my ball and walk around because I had that freedom to do so. I couldn't even stand. I couldn't walk. My legs kept buckling because of how much pain I was in. Little did I know that was because my body was jumping from a 5 straight to a 10. I labored for less than 10 hours and they had told me that I was gonna labor for multiple days. And so that's why I got the epidural. I don't think that they failed me in that sense because they were just being honest with what is common with most people, but because of the prep that I had done, my body was ready. I was already in labor when I had shown up. So the baby was probably gonna show up within that time frame anyways. I had gotten the epidural. If you know me, I'm terrified of needles, hate them, cannot stand them. Did some research before I even gotten the epidural. And I had already known, you need to hunch your back over and all that kind of stuff, and they thread it through, and I'd done a lot of research, so I knew what to expect. What I'll say with the epidural and what my nurse had told me is that it's definitely worth it when it comes to pain because it feels better than sticking through with the contractions for sure, especially if you know you're not going to be able to withstand the pain for very long. I have a very high pain tolerance, but I thought I was going to be laboring for a lot longer than I did. So I think I could have naturally given birth. I don't know, I got a little scared. And I didn't ask specifically for the epidural. I just didn't say no. And so they brought the person in to do the epidural, the anesthesiologist or whatever they call it. And I was just like, you know what? Yeah, let's just do it. What I will say, you can feel the epidural threading through your spine. That's the weirdest thing. That was the weirdest thing for me, is I could actually feel it threading. And I don't like being so aware of my own body like that, but you know what? It was worth it. I didn't feel a thing when I gave birth. When I was having the contractions and I started on the epidural, I could definitely still feel the contractions for a while. It was a hot minute of feeling the contractions before the epidural truly kicked in and completely took over. And might I say, it took over in perfect timing. Perfect timing. I had a hot spot. That was something that I was terrified of when I had researched people getting epidurals and stuff, because my body and my family's bodies are notorious for not responding to medication the way that it should. And so that was something that I was nervous for when I got the epidural, because I know that my family responds differently to medication. And this isn't something that's gonna happen to everybody when you get the epidural. So don't take this to heart or think that it's gonna happen to you just because it happened to me. But I had a hot spot, and I could feel on my left side down in my ovary area, I could feel pain. Like it was like literally like a spot that I could feel everything. I could feel all the contractions. I could feel her movements, all that kind of stuff. So that was worrisome for me. I prayed and prayed and prayed because it was so intense in that one spot. I had to pray that God would take the pain away and allow me to give birth without any pain there. Might I say, perfect timing. Oh my gosh, perfect timing. I was able to pump as much epidural as I needed through a button. It doesn't let you get too much of the medication, but it was just enough. I think it's like every 20 minutes you could hit it again, and it would give you a little bit more of a dosage because it was already dosing through your body. So it was just like a little bit more. I was pressing that multiple times every single time a 20-minute came around, just so I could try to hit that hot spot. But I didn't want to do too much because they said that it can make it to where you can't feel yourself pushing, and it makes delivery a lot harder. I was trying to pace myself, but at the same time I was kind of paying attention to how I was feeling. But I needed to hit that hot spot because I was in so much pain, I'm not gonna lie. Finally hit, I was able to sleep, and because mind you, mine was from 11:45 until 3 p.m. I gave birth 3:25 p.m. the next day on Thanksgiving. But I was on the phone with my mom. This is the funniest thing ever, and this is part of the reason why I wanted to tell this story, because I just thought it was so funny and why it's such a positive experience. So I was already on the epidural, and I was on the phone with my mom. I was just giving her a quick update because I was so sure that I was gonna be in labor for multiple days. So I was like, let me just call my family. I'm bored. I'm not feeling any pain. I feel great. I'm happy. I'm excited. So I was like, I'm just gonna call my mama, see what she's doing. So I call her and we're talking, and the doctors come in and they're like, hey, you know, we wanna do a quick check just to see where you're at. Do you mind if you get off the phone real quick? You can call them right back. We're just gonna see what the next steps are. I was like, yeah, for sure. I get off the phone. I'm like, hey, let me call you right back. I'm just gonna, yeah. I had told my mom that I felt a little bit of pressure. I was like, I feel a little pressure, but I'm not feeling any contractions. I'm not, you know, it's no big deal. They say, okay, so you've been at a 5 for a while. Let's check you out, see what's going on. If you're not past a 5, or if you haven't progressed to a 6, 7, I want you to be at a 7 is what they said. But if you haven't progressed to that, then we're gonna have to put, I think they said it was like a catheter that goes through into your uterus just to make sure that she's doing okay. Oh, I skipped a part. Hold on, let me go back. Before I called my mother, they came in and did a check, and they said that my water needed to break. That was the next step because I was stuck at a 5. I almost forgot that part. So they did the check. My water actually broke on its own while she was doing the cervical check. Fast forward, they come back in. They say they need to insert the catheter if I haven't progressed past the 5 mark. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. Just do your check, we'll go from there. They go down and they look and they see her head, okay? She's already coming on her own. She was actually pushing herself out. I knew I had felt her moving because I felt her kicking up towards my sternum and moving downwards, but I just figured that she was just moving because it was time. And this is after my water had already broken. It was time for her to come out. The doctors look down and they just see a head full of hair, and they're like, oh my gosh, never mind about the catheter thing. We're doing this now. My husband is standing next to me and he's like, oh my gosh, like, because he's actually the one that delivered her and clipped the cord. So both were just like, oh, okay, so this is now. Completely shocked. I had no idea that it was gonna come so fast. I literally went from a 5 to a 10 in a couple of hours of just sitting there sleeping and eating Jello, popsicles, all that kind of stuff. So, because you can't eat solids when you're on an epidural. Shocked. absolutely shocked, had no idea that I was already that far along, and she literally could have been birthed on her own. I didn't feel that sense or need to push like everybody says. They always say like, oh yeah, I had that like feeling that I needed to push. I didn't have that. I didn't feel that. She was pushing herself out. When I say I literally coughed this baby out, I coughed 3 times and pushed maybe 6 times total, and I couldn't really push all the way because 1, I was scared of tearing, and 2, I just couldn't really feel anything. I literally coughed her out of my body. She's pushing herself out. She was born in less than, I think, 8 minutes, born at 3:25 p.m. She was crying by the time her head had surfaced. She wasn't even fully all the way out yet. She was already crying, and then they put her on my chest and she immediately latched. So I am so grateful for how everything, when I say I was so emotional because God really made that happen. I can't think of a better birth story. I can't think of a better experience. I'm truly nervous about my second baby because I don't think anything will compare to this. I haven't even done my brows yet. I'm sitting here looking at my brow pencil like I need to do my brows, but I'm just so focused on this story. Going back to why I decided to start this channel again, it's just I was looking at my old videos, and you know, my husband, just dealing with postpartum and stuff, all the things that come with it, whether it's postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety, night terrors, night sweats, just getting into the new rhythm and stuff. My husband was like, you know what? I want you to get back into what you love doing. I love being a mom, okay? I love it. I started this channel originally because I was trying to find my self-worth. I was trying to find myself in the process, and I ended up finding so much more than that. I ultimately found my purpose. My husband actually was the one that brought it up. He wanted me to do something for myself. He wanted me to kind of reconnect with what it is that I love to do. So he actually bought me this camera for my birthday and Christmas. I thought it was the sweetest thing ever, but he wanted me to get started back into this. And I was just watching all the old videos and realized that I started this channel because I was trying to find myself. I was trying to find my self-worth and what it is that I love, and just my own identity outside of a very terrible relationship, very toxic, abusive, manipulative, cheating relationship, and ultimately found the most amazing partner, the most loving, caring, secure human being that I could possibly ever imagine. And then on top of that, I found my purpose in being a mother and sealed everything that it was that I needed and everything that I've ever wanted. I wanted all of this for the longest time, and I finally found it because I really pressed into God and His Word and made Him, I'm gonna get emotional, but made Him the center of my focus. And I found absolutely everything that I never knew was so close. I am so happy, but I just wanted to share that and share my testimony and really just give thanks. All glory to God, for sure. Whew. Let me try not to cry. I am so grateful. So with that being said, that is my birth story. Very positive, hard, yes, very painful. It was a lot. But you know what? She is so worth it. I am so grateful. I'm grateful for my little family. With that being said, be sure to turn on your notifications, follow, like this video, all of the above. You know how it goes. I will be sharing more of my experience with postpartum and just how ruthless it can be. I am breastfeeding, so you know, the breastfeeding journey as well, and then on top of that, everything in between the last video and this video, because there's a lot to go over, a lot to share. So I am so grateful, but I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.